to start us off, please? Karakia. Welcome. Mute. You're on mute, hon.
Kia ora. Ka mihi tātou ki o tātou tūpuna. Ko te tūpuna ki te kauwhanga e mahia e rātou mō ngā tūmanako me ngā moemoeā. Ka mihi tātou ki SheEO matua kore, ko te rātou kaupapa atua, ka kitea e roto e o tātou iwi, o mua, o naia nei, me ere e hiki mai nei. Ka nui te mihi mō ngā rangatira o te Coralus whānau, e hanga tēnei kaupapa, e tautoko e te tini ki te tākoha o te aroha me tautoko. E karapotia ana tātou, e tō rātou aroha me o rātou pukenga, e a tātou e haere te tahi ana. Ka tae e tātou, te tūkaha me te kore mataku, nā te mea e hara ka tātou anaki. Ka tū tātou e te rama o te tūmanako, he mero e roto e te rārangi nui, e hono ana e a tātou katoa. Te hei mauri ora. Kia ora. I have a translation which I'll share with you so I can understand what was said. So it says that we acknowledge our ancestors and we stand in the sacred space that they made for our hopes and dreams. We acknowledge SheEO matua kore, their divine purpose reflected in the people, past, present, and those to come. Our hearts are full of thanks for the leaders of the Coralus whānau who created this kaupapa and have supported many with the gift of love and support. We're surrounded by love and skills as we journey together. We can stand strong and unafraid because we are not alone. We stand in the light of hope, a thread in the great weaving that joins us all together. We breathe in the breath of life.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kushla. Well, welcome everyone. It's been a while since we've gathered with so many ventures to get some updates. And what we're going to do today is, for all the ventures that are on the call, we're going to go alphabetical order by their venture. MJ and Lauren are going to walk us through the ventures that are not here and get some updates, and then we'll go to Q&A after. So welcome, and I will start with you, MJ. You want to kick it off?
Welcome, everyone. I'm just getting over COVID, so pardon my coughing. We're going to start with Nada from Again. We're eager to hear from all our ventures about how they're doing.
Kia ora whānau Coralus. Yeah, so it's been a super exciting year really for us. The two big things that we've got going on, the first is that when we took on a bunch of funding at the start of the year, and some of that came from the government, some of it came from this network and a few other stakeholders, and we launched a project that is being supported primarily by the Ministry for the Environment and their Plastics Innovation Fund, that is going to bring a shared flagging system to 50 locations around the country. We're doing a bunch of tech development, and that's well underway. We've selected this vessel that you can see here after some consultation with the industry, and those containers are now on the water. We're really excited about them. The industry is really excited about them. We've got about 60% of our registrations for launch, which is in the end of October. And I don't think we're going to have any trouble getting the rest of them, because it's just a matter of time. The enthusiasm is certainly there. So that's kind of taken up most of my time. The other really exciting thing that has been happening for us is that we went through the Electrify Accelerator that ran out of Christchurch, which was backing women and non-Brown founders to develop their businesses. And we were in the tech, there were two running concurrently. We were in the tech one, and we have essentially pivoted the business to extract the tech that we have built to support the system in New Zealand, and then actually integrate that with point of sale technology, which is also happening in the Flagon project, but are now pushing that out. And we've now been shortlisted for a project to deploy this out of Portugal. And so in about a month's time, I will be pitching hopefully get through to that. There's lots of signs that suggest that we're in the right place with it. So that's really exciting to see it moving from being what was a container company and actually into the deployment of the tech side of things. And then the third and final thing that has been happening is we have just last week actually deployed an activation program with Wellington City Council to bring their staff group onto a journey of reusable packaging, and that's going super well. It's the first time that we haven't done it, but we've empowered another group, in this case the council, to do it for themselves using our tools. And so that is a bit of a shift as well, and yeah, going super well. Everything's going well. My only problem is that there's not enough of me and there's lots of work to do. So good problem to have. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Nada. That's amazing. I didn't know all of that. So hooray. Congratulations. Next up is Sue from Beanie. Ready,
Kia ora,
Sue?
everybody. Kia ora. It's nice to see everybody here. And thank you, Kushla, for that beautiful karakia. Yeah, so I was just thinking, how do I start to encapsulate everything that's happened in the last 12 months? But if I perhaps just start with the fact last year we split Beanie into Beanie, the company that delivers accounting services to small businesses. So that's basically a service delivery company. And so we're now in Australia and New Zealand and the UK. We launched into the UK last October, so that's super exciting. But we split the company and broke off basically a software development company called Plugin Accountant, which is developing the software that we've developed for internal use. We're now offering to other accountants. So it's kind of quite a separate thing. When I spoke to everybody at the summit in March, my tale was filled with woe and angst. Like I was in quite a bad place in March. Had a really, really, really tough time with my board. And I was super disappointed in some of the actions of some of the people on the board. And as you know, I was supported by Coralus through that. Post that, we actually, we're in the middle of a capital raise with maker partners who are going to basically finance the new company, Plugin Accountant. And we got to the end of that cap raise successfully. Maker wanted to invest, but the deal had become so awful that I said no, which was quite hard to do, as you can imagine. It was a $2 million deal, but I said no, and we went back to the existing shareholders and asked for their support, and they pitched in. So we completed the cap raise, and then we can also completed a small cap raise for Beanie, just to basically refloat Beanie, which had been supporting Plugin. So then we launched Plugin into the market in April. It went off so fast that we actually almost fell over. So there's a lesson as well for everybody. I seem to manage to make every bad decision and somehow still survive. I don't know how I do that. I feel like I must have a super talent of surviving disaster, certainly making them happen. Anyway, we went off super fast and we onboarded a huge bunch of people. Our revenue spiked up, but then we actually, we couldn't keep up. So we actually just shut the door for sales temporarily. So we're filling our pipeline while we just actually rebalance the platform. And we've actually just spent 3 months reconfiguring the entire platform for scale. So this is really exciting. The other thing that's super exciting to me is we've got new board members, new shiny board members that actually seem to understand that board directors should be helping the company grow and develop. So that's really exciting. Yeah, so Plugin looks like it's poised for company success. We're just about to relaunch into New Zealand with the new stabilized platform, and then we're going into Australia next year. And Beanie, just a few stats from Beanie, it grew 42% in the last financial year. In the last quarter, it grew an annualized growth rate of 32%. So yeah, so Beanie is kind of just doing the Beanie thing, and Plugin is now just kind of, it's my baby now. So I'm just trying to get it onto its feet a little bit. So that's long story short. So if anybody wants to hear about a terrible board, surviving disaster, I'm definitely your go-to person. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sue. I really appreciate that. You are my model, one of my models of resilience for sure. So congratulations, you made it so far. Okay, Becky, you're up next from Goodbye. Hopefully your hotspot will still work.
Morena, Kushla, that was absolutely beautiful. I have to mirror that beautiful step that you took. Yeah. I'm Becky from Goodbye, and I'm a venture from 2020. There's been a lot that's happened in the last year, and I'm just going to quickly do a journey with you. For one, as you know, it's a tricky business landscape. There's new data models coming in supermarkets, which is where we serve. So I've been really challenged / encouraged to think about our business in a different way and move the way I want to move instead of letting bigger channels define my movements. And it's been really a journey of gaining my own sovereignty and focusing on where I want to focus. So the big news for us is that Goodbye Sandfly, which has started 24 years ago, you guys are getting the very first look at the new branding, which is we're just Goodbye. We hung on to the word Sandfly at the bottom so that people can still identify that it's the same thing. This starts to come out, hit the shelves in October. I just put my hands on this bottle yesterday for the first time. So you're catching my new, like, oh my goodness, you're such a beautiful baby. And the big news for us is we are now sporting a B Corp, which has been well-traveled time. 2014, we started working on getting this certification. So we've got it, and look at these cute little display cartons, and they got our little bee on them. So this is the beginning of a transition for us, 12 months of moving into being Goodbye instead of Goodbye Sandfly and Goodbye Ouch, which will finally match our website, which is goodbye.co.nz. It's been such a long journey to try and get the IP that we need to be able to do that safely and to have some confidence that we can move into such a generic word, which has got a little bit of IP problems with it, but we've finally patched that all together and we've got a path forward. Our big focus this year is we shut down our commercial warehouse in Kerikeri in June and moved to a 3PL, which is huge for us. We've been self-fulfilling our products to every single package that goes out the door with our own hands. And to celebrate that, John and I went away on a 6-week holiday with our kids and did like this most amazing reconnect with our family and this river trip that literally has changed my life. I'm just not quite sure how yet, but is like rumblings deep in the core of Becky that something shifted when we were on the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon. So I come back to I'm down in Rotorua. I'm kind of splitting my time between Kerikeri and Rotorua. Our 3PL is a woman-owned business based in Tauranga, with a landscape that operationally we're easier moving because we aren't touching every single package, and we're getting ready to go into the busy time. And my time is free to just take care of the marketing side of things. So I've just been going crazy with celebrations. So we're giving away 6,000 seed packets with little bees on the back, celebrating that Goodbye is a good bee. That's our theme for the next couple of months. And then we're going to roll into our 25-year anniversary, and we're going to give away a bunch more seeds for that. And we are celebrating with a bunch of cost-covered marketing with these little guys are our sunscreen, and they are now in all of our tubes have in the last 18 months shifted to sugarcane packaging. So if you guys want to play in cost covered marketing, it means you get them really cheap and you can give them away. And we're happy for that to happen. I made extra for that. And the other thing we're doing is shifting over to a new program called Hello Community, which allows people to interact with us through Smartsheet to say our kindy, our club, our event, our super cool mummy group wants free product. And so we're basically going to have a way to give at scale, which scaled is very different between me and Sue, by the way. But in the past, every single email's had to come through me, and I've had to reply to every single email. And it's like, what's your address? And now we created a system so that we can give easier and faster, and that's going to be really fun. Our online shop is working super great. We shifted over to Shopify, and I'm really enjoying running that. So there's a standing Coralus discount on there, which is 15% if you ever roll in there and want to try some of our products. We're usually adding value by adding something on, and then you can add your Coralus discount. The big thing for me in terms of channel focus is that we are moving into providing products for tourism, for more sustainability in their products that they're offering. And we've piloted a couple of programs last year that are working really well, and they're moving into that. So now we have something we can say we do and it works. We're also working into health and safety programs, people who are ready to stop using the giant 1 liter plastic tub of chemical red and black super sunscreen from Australia. Maybe they want to use something a little bit more natural and sustainable and refillable. We're offering packages for that as well. So, and we're just starting to do a bit more gifting stuff where we're putting names on stuff where people can't put through an Excel file, and it's got 100 names on it, and we roll them out and everybody gets their own little named tin for an event or a Christmas party or gifting, which is so fun because we just roll them through an Excel file and they just out on the machine. So I am more positive and more happy about what I'm doing as a business, completely independent of what happened in our channels. And essentially, I'm going to have a lot of fun, and anywhere you guys feel like playing with me, I'm going to be very happy to see you. So thank you.
Thanks, Becky. I have to tell you that from in San Francisco, I have the big giant container that you sent me, that's that metal, and I am the dealer. I'm the dealer for a small group of people who know about your sunscreen. It's like, I need more. And we meet at a restaurant and I give them, they refill their containers. So really, really excited.
That's awesome. I was the dealer on the Grand Canyon trip because everybody knew I had the big one. And so they'd come back with their little tins and I'd get them.
Yeah. And I took you to PEI too, where people were like, whoa, what's this? So you're spreading around the world. Thank you, Becky. All right, Julie from KitCal. Can't wait to hear from you.
Thank you, MJ. Kia ora, everyone. KitCal is still here. We are still making a lot of people happy. I don't have any fantastic news to share. I guess my year has been a journey of eliminating negatives. Hopefully I'm at the point soon where I understand all those and have eliminated them and can move on to the right side of the line. Just a lot of learning about and somebody said to me the other day, stop talking to the people who love what you do and talk to the people who don't love it about why they don't love it. And that made me think about all the people who, for many different reasons, haven't embraced KitCal for their seniors. And that has made me think about different pathways. When I say we, I really mean I. Now, Julie B has had to, for family reasons, withdraw a little bit. And so I'm really pushing ahead pretty much on my own here, when that makes me appreciate the Coralus community even more, because it's a group of people who I know understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and can get me through the dark parts of the day and the week. So we are doing I'm doing things that I didn't understand quite a year and a half ago, and even a year ago, in terms of how to pitch the pricing. And there've been a couple of changes that have made it easier for people to acquire KitCal. I have a group of people in Australia who are keen to take it there, and that would be a huge boost here, because one of the things, of course, here is that the numbers don't support credibility at a large scale, but from Australia back to here, they'll accept that credibility. So that's a big positive, and I think that that is going to happen soon. The method of people acquiring it, we're looking at a we've actually started a rental option, and a lot of people are very comfortable doing that rather than outright purchase. So overall, it's been a difficult year, but that's how it is for everybody. And if it was easy, we wouldn't be trying something new. It would be done already. So I don't feel too daunted by it. I just feel challenged, and that's can be the part of me that wants to make sure that those seniors who keep telling me how much they love Kitcal, and the others keep telling me how left out they feel, that there is a purpose here and we can see it through. So thank you. I'm sorry that's not a whole lot of positives, but it's getting to be a lack of negatives, and I feel that that's a good thing too.
Thank you, Julie. You are in the heart of product market fit, which is the hardest thing for any entrepreneurs. It's real and it's the truth of where you are. And so thank you for telling us the truth of where you are. And when as you said, when you eliminate all the negatives, you'll find the product market fit. Rental sounds like an interesting option to pursue. So you can do it. And we're here for you too. So thank you, Julie. Last up is Kushla. Ready?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, it's actually hard to believe that it's been a year because it feels like a blur. I think if I am reflecting on what I'm celebrating now, I think it's actually being able to be an authentically kaupapa Māori based business and being able to communicate that with the world. Before coming into Coralus, it felt like there were a lot of gatekeepers. It was difficult to have penetration, and now we're really in this phase of whanaungatanga, of making and building and maintaining relationships, and actually being able to be really centered in the mirror of our why. As we're looking forward to scale, we've completely sold out our first village. We have 3 new villages on the horizon. One of them, really excitingly, is in the Central Plateau region. It is a hapori, or a group of Māori landowners, which is the heart of sort of where we wanted to be in terms of being able to empower Indigenous communities to be able to house and have that opportunity for economic development. So that's been really beautiful. And I think what I'm celebrating is really being true to my own why. And that's been so helpful because we're having lots of conversations with many people. We've had lots of interest, but having the confidence to be able to go, actually, I'm looking to find my tribe. I'm looking to find a good fit for me and my vision and my purpose. And not taking the first offer that comes along, being able to actually know intrinsically go and how we want to scale this ethically. We'll say the other thing I'm really excited about is working with some of the other women in the Coralus community to help to bring some scale to our business. And so we have actually just finished our syntropic food forest in our current village. And we're about to start a whole lot of branding and communication work to help tell our story authentically from our voice. We've also hired a fractional CFO, which was a big deal for us because we didn't have that. And I've also started building out our board, and that's been a really just hearing Sue's update, I was like, oh, I need to make notes but I think, being in the why for us, that has been really helpful, and really being comfortable and trusting my gut. And it just seems like every time we sort of step we get this really clear yes or no, and the things that we weren't expecting, they just sort of come, like MJ talks about, being receptive, and not sort of hustling and pushing and trying to smash something into a box, but just I'm really enjoying and celebrating the fact that I don't feel like I need to hustle in this kaupapa. Everything that I need is coming to me at the right time, when it needs to come. And so it's just been, when I came into Coralus, I was really empty and had so much compassion fatigue. From where I was a year ago to where I am now, I feel so much more centered in the place where I'm supposed to be working from. I'm so aware of my purpose, and that's been the most beautiful part of this journey, is just being able to connect and resonate with people who are like, oh my gosh, that's been my dream too. How can I help? So yeah, just a big mihi to everyone in the Coralus community that has helped me, Sue and everybody else that has put their hand up. I'm just so thankful and appreciative for the power of whakawhanaungatanga in this kaupapa. So kia ora.
Thanks, Kushla. I can really feel the difference about how you were coming in and how you are now, having worked with you for the year. I can feel the truth of what you're saying. Fortunately, there's a big difference between an advisory board, which is what you're trying to have, and a board of directors, which controls the company through the, or at least partially. That's much trickier, so don't worry about that in this moment. Thank you.
And there's no shame in crying, Kushla. Like, even
That's right.
when you were emptier when we first met, you still just have so much mana and are doing such amazing work.
Yep.
I'm teasing you, Nada, but it was as I reflect on that, I'm like, yeah, I was really emotional.
Thank you, Kushla. Okay, so what we're going to do next is Lauren and I are going to questions before we go. Absolutely. Let's do some questions before we go on to the rest of anyone have questions for any of the ventures that are here? I guess not. So what we're going to do next is Lauren and I are going to give you a little bit of an update, one sentence or two from the ventures who are not able to be here today. We're again going to go in alphabetical order, and I'm going to start with you, Lauren, to talk about Rini from Tuitahi.
Right. So Rini has been focusing on launching Atutahi, both the sugar-free as well as the signature drink, into Australia. And at the same time, while she is focused on managing a cafe and her catering business in Nelson. So you can imagine how busy she's been.
Great.
Her
Thanks,
goal is to eventually, after Australia, move into Singapore. But for now, Australia has been enough of a challenge.
Great, thanks. Okay, next up is AWA, which is the sustainable products for periods. And Kylie sent me a message saying that they're continuing to look to export markets, especially Australia and the US. And their CEO, Michelle, went to Australia as part of the first Mana Wahine trade mission to Melbourne, which they were very proud to be able to do. And they've also this year released some new colors in their boxer brief style, and they're looking to add some additional colors in 24. So that's the update on AWA. The next is Banker, who is, I talk to Kendall on a regular basis. She's on her annual leave right now, so she is not being able to be here. But she is very proud to say that due to hard work of many people, including herself and her business partner, the financial some of you probably know this, but financial literacy requirement has now been passed for the entire country of New Zealand, and which positions their product, what they offer in terms of financial literacy, positioned perfectly to take advantage of that in the schools. So she's very, very excited and thrilled, and they were taking a little time off to recuperate from that campaign and get ready to meet the need. So that's Banker. Lauren, bidet.
Yeah.
Billy
So
Joe.
Billy Joe. So Billy Joe actually accepted a role as a CEO of another startup. And that was mainly to stabilize her family financially. Her focus for bidet is going to be still to be working on strategic partnerships, mainly in Europe, so that she can do a successful launch there. Because there seems to be more acceptance of her main wet wipe product there. So that's what she's been focusing on, and online sales.
Right, thank you. Bex from Better Packaging was hoping to be here today, but she unfortunately was not able to make it. And so I hope everyone has seen the campaign they've been doing on Instagram of the big giant poo on the beach. If you haven't, sign up for your Instagram so you can see. They do some amazingly creative stuff. She's been, as you know, posting in WhatsApp, the agency that's been helping create this campaign. But it's to promote the idea that every 30 seconds, that amount of plastic goes into the ocean every 30 seconds. And they're really trying to transform that with their product, Plastic. And so far they have removed 587 pounds of plastic from the atmosphere, from what they're creating. So that's the exciting thing that they're doing. And they're continuing to sell their combustible products around the world. So that's the update. Next up is BrainFit. Jillian has had lots of challenges personally in her family. The good news is that she has just completed paying back her loan, which she's very proud of. And so we're very happy about that. And she is continuing to work on BrainFit, offering it as a coaching certification. So that's that. The Chia Sisters. As most of you know, Florence is now working with NCTE, and but Chloe is running the business. And Chloe apologizes for not being able to be here, but she had to take the kids to school. So she sent me an update. So I'm going to just read you some of the stuff. Revenue is up 54% on last year. So they're very happy about that. They're rolling out an additional line of smoothies into 100 Countdown supermarkets. They're selling in Australia. Here's their request. You'll see it in the chat. And they're now in 100 health food stores in Australia, primarily in Sydney and Melbourne. And they also have an e-commerce service, which you'll see in the chat. And they're asking any help in letting people know that it's available. If you have any people in Australia, please let them know. And they're also looking for someone on the ground to give tastings. And then they're also looking for a national sales manager. So if you know anybody, contact Chloe. And then the final thing is that they are launched a juice on tap circular packaging initiative to hotels. So they are now in Regis, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, Cardona and Treble Cone ski fields. And so her last ask is, if you know any hotel chains that are interested in being more sustainable, they would love to have introductions to any of those. So that's the Chia Sisters. Sarah from Choice was also unable to be here today. She was planning on it. So Choice, as you just remind you, is an online platform for selling Kiwi creators products and services. I think it's just products. She just attempted to do a crowdfunding raise that didn't reach the minimum, but as a result, a bunch of people who want to give money reached out to her. So it worked. She didn't get it from the onesie twosies. Her population just really couldn't afford it, but she did attract some people who have bigger pockets and are interested in funding. So that's the biggest news there. Farm plans. So Emma from Farm Plans never took a loan, worked with me for about a year and decided not to launch the platform. And in fact, not even to do the consulting business that she was doing. After the giant floods that you all had and all the farms were like flooded, her business disappeared. And so she's rebooting herself. So that's Emma from Farm Plans. Petra from Guardian Angel Services. Everyone knows she's launching amazingly in Australia. She's going gangbusters in Australia. She's flying back and forth constantly between Australia and New Zealand. And her biggest problem is getting people and employees that will stay, because she hires people and then they disappear, and it takes a lot of training for what she needs people to do. So that's her biggest challenge right now, is stable workforce, which I'm hearing from lots of people as a challenge, right? Next up is Kiri Nathan. Most of you have probably seen. Can we put in the chat that Kiri just appeared this week on New Zealand Fashion Week? And here is one of her absolutely stunning creations. And the link in there has the whole show, has what the whole piece that was posted on Instagram. But this this outfit is emblematic of what she's done. It's really, really stunning. So she's been extremely busy doing that. And as some of us were commenting before we started, I can't believe how many pieces she had in her collection. I don't know if anyone counted, but it looked like at least 20, maybe 30. It was a lot. So amazing, eh? Okay, next up is Nisa. There's been big news on Nisa. First of all, Alicia Watson has sold Nisa. It's huge because she's the first Maori designer to open New Zealand Fashion Week. So that's amazing. So what an accomplishment. Okay, so Alicia. So Alicia sold Nisa to her employees, or a subset of her employees. In the process of doing that, she was shutting down the company. What was happening was she couldn't find a buyer. She was shutting down the company. And so they had put stuff on sale, and she made enough money from the sales to not only cover all of her debt, including her debt to Coralus. So she's paid that back. And just before she was about to shut down the whole organization, a couple of her employees came to her and said, "We want to buy it," which is so amazing. And they ran a Pledge Me campaign that is going on right now. If you're interested in supporting it, we put in the chat. And they were trying to raise $80,000. And yesterday I got an email saying they're halfway through and they're at 132K. So they're almost double already. And so if you're interested in participating, please do. I know because when I worked with Alicia, I worked with Pam, who is the main purchaser of the organization. She's a very smart person who's been in this field a long time. So just so you know, I'm very excited and encouraged about that. Okay, next up is Pure Peony. Dot sent an update. I'm gonna read it. Here's what she says. How are we? Well, we're still here and focused on helping people with skin conditions heal and calm their skin naturally. Recently, we launched an oil-free cleanser for sensitive skin, which is proving popular. Since we lost our distribution into 150 pharmacies due to COVID, we focused on our online store. This sound familiar, Becky? Word of mouth referrals and recommendations are our lifeblood. We are incredibly grateful for the support we've received from Coralus. Our ask for the community is that they follow us on Instagram. Pure Peony Skincare, you'll see that in the chat. Then we'll stick it in the chat and share any post with their followers that resonate with them. And last but not least is Share Warmth, one of our first ventures. So a couple things here. One, they also have completed their loan, so they're very happy about that. In the past, I think it was probably almost 2 years ago now, I've kind of lost track of time here. Lynn, who most of you know, who knew anything about Share Warmth, sold her interest in the business to her daughter-in-law, Monique, who had been the marketing person. The wool was being grown by the sheep in her son's farm, and so now it's completely a farm family business. Her son grows the sheep, and Monique sells the blankets. So, and Lynn has gone into retirement and is very happy doing that. So that's the people we have information on. Just wanted to let you know that we didn't hear anything from Hello Period, Job Loads, Kitty Kai, or Soupy. So we can't have any, we don't have any updates on that. So questions, comments, celebrations, ahas.
I haven't spoken directly to Sarah, but I hear that Soupy's going off like a rocket. So she's probably just so busy, which is great. But I only hear good things around that, which is good. And probably the other thing is just I'm so excited for Alicia and so thrilled for her team as well that the concept was strong enough to sort of survive and the market responded. That just feels like such a win.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I saw she posted a blog about exiting your business so that other people can learn from her experience, which I thought was really lovely.
Yes, and we're going to post that. It's going to be in the newsletter, and it's also going to be in our venture resource guide.
Just jump in as well. That transition that she made happened because of her willingness to be really visual in the process. You know, she didn't have the outcome that she was aiming for, but she knew she had a sort of D-Day where she was like, well, if I can't sell it, then I'm done. And she decided, rather than kind of slinking away and, oh, I didn't make it and I didn't sell, she just got louder and more beautiful about what they'd achieved and who they were. And she got some amazing PR, and their social media was just glorious, and all their people were allowed to participate, and their sales went like, I don't know her sales numbers, but I know they just went astronomical, exponential. Everybody came in to support and celebrate. So it was her style of creating that exit pathway that allowed the next step.
Absolutely. Thank you, Becky. Absolutely true. Her willing to be transparent in what other people could think of as a shameful situation, right? And so that's, I think, such a huge lesson. Thanks for pointing it out, Becky, because it feels to me like so much of why we sometimes, not always, but sometimes don't hear from people is because people feel ashamed about what's going on, right? And so the idea of saying, this is what it's like, this is part of the journey, and this is what, and her getting bigger, as you said, instead of smaller, what did produce the result, which is that it got the company out of debt completely so that the employees could even conceive of keeping it going, because it was the debt that was holding back the company from succeeding, right? So thank you, Becky, for being clear. I want to also say something really, Vicki put it in the chat, but just to be clear about this, our coaching program is for a year. So you're seeing some people here like Kushla and Nada who are just now finishing up working with us. And then after that, it's as needed. And so that's why we don't hear as much from ventures after 2, 3, 4, some 5 years, but both Lauren and I often work with people post the first year. But typically as the years go by, it tends to drift off more and more, which is why some of why we don't have updates from people. Lauren, do you want to say anything about any of your the other ventures or?
No, I think that I want to also reinforce that sometimes a year from now, someone's going through a bit of a dip, and that's when they reach out. And we find that because we have a relationship and also because they feel supported by the community, they are able to move through that challenge much faster. So I see that the skills gained in that first year are constantly called upon. And then also the relationships that everyone builds over time are so powerful.
Thanks. Vicki, do you want to?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if this format was useful. We haven't done this before where it's like a big giant kind of update. There's lots of ventures. And thank you so much, MJ and Lauren, for pulling this all together. I know it's no small feat reaching out to everyone and chasing them and like trying to get the updates. And thank you so much for everyone who's on the call today, providing these updates. But I'm just wondering, is this a useful thing to hear how people are doing? Maybe some of the folks that are on the call could share. I don't know. Yeah, Nikki's nodding. Charissa, yeah, Trish, cool. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not COVID anymore. There aren't like 80 people on a call. It's like so different, right? It's so crazy. And I would just keep hearing over and over that, what's going on? We don't hear. And so we like try to do something in like one fell swoop, everyone together, but we're very hopeful. I mean, maybe just from a show of hands, how many people might we see in Auckland if we get together at the summit? Who's going to come? Everyone here? Cool. Great. Okay. Well, we can't wait to hug you in person, at least, and then hear more stories of folks who are around. So I know that Sue and a small group are pulling together local locations for what this is going to look like. It's going to be on the 30th. If it's not in your calendar, please get it into your calendar, that gathering. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. It's just really nice to see everyone, and really, it's really great to hear the updates. There's so much going on. It's been a really tough market. It continues to be wild. Thank you, Sue, for sharing the challenges you're facing. Becky, Kushla, Nada, Julie, really, really great to hear from all of you.
And thanks for the message that Trish put in, that she just figured out from listening to you all, thought of 2 ways you might be able to help ventures. So yay, thanks, Trish.
Yay. Great. Yeah, sometimes we just need to hear the stories, right? Just a little bit of an update and it sparks something that's going on for you. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here. I don't have anything else if people want to say anything else. Otherwise, it's like you have 11 minutes left in your day or in the rest of your time. So well, thank you for being here, and we'll see you soon in person. Thanks, everyone.